Before we dive in, I want you to know this isn't just a dramatization or a fable passed down over the airwaves. This is a true story. It was inspired by the real-life experiences of Chris Rukowski, NW6V, and his father, stories Chris shares in his powerful book, The CW Way of Life, Learning, Living, and Loving Morse Code in a Digital World. You know, when people talk about Morse code today, they usually think it's just this obsolete system, something that belongs only in old war movies or maybe maritime history museums. But what if I told you Morse code actually saved my life before I was even born? Yeah, seriously. Without Morse code, I wouldn't be here talking to you. And the key to that story, literally, is sitting right here in front of me. It belonged to my dad, and it traveled with him across a glacier in Greenland in 1943. Let me tell you about it. In January of 1943, my dad was a young radio operator aboard a Navy PBY Catalina, part of a top-secret mission patrolling the icy skies over Greenland. They had cutting-edge radar, brand-new state-of-the-art tech. But sometimes, new technology has glitches. On this day, radar read ice as clear sky. They crashed, full throttle, onto a mountain skating across a glacier until they stopped just shy of a deadly crevasse. My dad, belted into his seat, hand already gripping the Morse code key, immediately tapped out an SOS with their exact position, even as chaos exploded around him. Just one quick burst of Morse code, automatically. He didn't even remember doing it later. Back at base, another operator copied that single desperate transmission. Because of that Morse code SOS, search planes knew exactly where to find them. It took 3 days for the weather to clear enough to drop supplies, and 16 days before sled teams finally reached them. My dad fell ill, ran fevers, but he kept them on the air, tapping Morse code with frozen fingers and fading strength. When rescue finally arrived, he was too weak to walk, but clutching his Morse code key, he rode on a sled across glaciers, eventually sliding down on his backside to the rescue ship. He carried nothing else but a key. This Morse code key was more than equipment. It was survival. Morse code connected them, kept hope alive, and was the only lifeline in a harsh, deadly wilderness. Morse code mattered profoundly. Life or death. Years later, Morse code still echoes through my life. Growing up, my dad and I bonded over dits and das, code talking at the dinner table. Unbeknownst to us, even my sister absorbed Morse code without realizing it. Decades later, she could still recite CQ perfectly, surprising even herself. Now here's the kicker. The Morse code we know today isn't actually Samuel Morse's creation at all. It was Alfred Vail, his partner, who simplified Morse's overly complex original design into the elegant dots and dashes we know now. Vail even devised the idea of audible Morse code signals, though history buried his contributions under Morse's famous name. He introduced the concept of variable length codes, short signals for common letters like E and T, longer ones for less frequent letters like Q and Z. Vail even came up with the idea of using sound instead of clicks, making Morse code something you could listen to, something your brain could hear and feel. And that is why today Morse code is not just dots and dashes, but music, a language whose rhythms, pauses, and harmonics synchronize directly with the human brain. Musicians get this instantly. It's no coincidence the man who refined Morse's system was a trained musician himself. Right now, Morse code continues to thrive. Ham operators around the globe still use it every day, not just for nostalgia, but because Morse code is uniquely robust. It's what you rely on when digital signals fail, when all else goes silent. I recently heard about a ham operator in Puerto Rico who, after Hurricane Maria devastated everything, found Morse code was the only communication method available. With just a battery, a simple transmitter, and Morse code, he coordinated emergency supplies and saved lives. Morse code endures because, fundamentally, it's human. This incredible story is absolutely true, inspired by Chris Rukowski's own journey and experiences detailed in his book, The CW Way of Life, Learning, Living, and Loving Morse Code in a Digital World. Chris's personal journey into Morse code began as a kid, fascinated by the rhythmic language that connected him deeply to his father and an entire global community. From early childhood code talking to his adult exploration of Morse code's psychological and neurological underpinnings, Chris explores how Morse code goes beyond mere communication to deeply human connections. Rukowski's book is more than a Morse code manual. It's a thoughtful, passionate dive into the science, humanity, and remarkable history behind Morse code. He explores brain science, explaining how Morse code integrates seamlessly into our neural pathways. The human stories he shares, like those of his father and countless others who found connection through Morse code, illuminate why this simple system has endured nearly 2 centuries. For anyone fascinated by communication, technology, history, or the hidden capabilities of the human brain, Rukowski's work is essential reading. There's a link to the book on Amazon in the description. And now, here's the part you didn't know. You've probably heard of Samuel Morse, maybe even Alfred Vail. But have you ever heard of Friedrich Goethe? Yeah, me neither, until recently. Goethe was a German musician and railway telegrapher. And in 1848, he took Vail's system and fine-tuned it even further, simplified it, cleaned up the inconsistencies, created what became known as International Morse Code. That's right, the version we all use today. That's Goethe's, not Morse's, not even Vail's. Goethe's version crossed oceans, linked continents, connected ships, armies, families. It's been in use for over 175 years, all thanks to a quiet, meticulous musician who understood that sometimes the best language isn't spoken, it's tapped. So next time you hear those beeps in the background, remember, you're not just hearing a code. You're hearing music, you're hearing history, and you're hearing the rhythm that once saved my dad's life and gave me mine. Before I wrap up, I sincerely thank everyone who subscribes, listens, or shares the history of our hobby with your friends. Or maybe your enemies, even though I tell you not to. Oh, and don't subscribe unless you're ready to fall in love with Morse code. My sincere thank you to everyone who subscribes, listens, watches, or shares my history lessons with a friend. Even though I tell you not to subscribe, you do it anyway, and that makes me smile. 73.